Hello friends and fam! Today I'm doing something a little different. It's my first non-vlog video. I realized obviously I need to introduce myself and my channel and what it's all about. And this is also kind of a celebration video for reaching 200 subscribers.
Clap if you care. Clap if you care.
So thank you very much. I really appreciate it. Today I'm going to answer a few questions that I received on my Instagram about living in Korea, living and working in Korea. So first of all, my name is Melissa, obviously, as my YouTube name goes by. I'm 28 years old. I've been living and working in Korea since February 2020. So I came just as the pandemic was like picking up speed. I teach at 2 elementary schools. My first school is about 10 minutes walk away from where I live, and the second school is about a 10-minute bus ride. And how it works is I go to my main school Monday to Wednesday and my second school Thursday and Friday. My major before coming to teach English in Korea was sports management. I worked for the South African Rugby Union, which is one of the biggest rugby unions in the world. And I was working in women's rugby development, and my master's thesis is actually on women's rugby in the Western Cape, which is my hometown in South Africa. Basically, I was working in sports for the last 6 years before I came to Korea. I don't know how much else I should say about myself. What else? I'm pretty outgoing and spontaneous. So with that, question number 1. How did you learn to do everything by yourself, like getting all the bank stuff together, etc.? At first, when you arrive in Korea, I'm with the EPIC program. So when you arrive in Korea, you'll have a handler or a co-teacher that's in charge of making sure all of your initial admin is like completed, you know? So for the first time when I came, my co-teacher helped me set up my bank account, my telephone account, just making sure I knew like how to get from my house to the school and stuff. But after that, once you get a handle of things, you kind of just learn to do it by yourself. Like there's no special method or anything. I had been learning Korean before I came to Korea, and I continued when I came here. So like reading things and understanding them is not too difficult, but there's obviously some things that I don't understand, then I would ask either my Korean friend or my co-teacher who will help me out. So there's always a solution. There's also like phone numbers you can call to like help translate if you need translation services. But most things I've just been able to do it by myself. And question number 2, what's the best place you visited and why?
Is this a trick question, Sha?
My favorite place in Korea, I'm assuming this question was about Korea, is Busan. I can't even explain why. It's just so much fun. I don't know how to explain why. I don't know how to explain it. I just love Busan so much. Like I'm literally there every weekend. And the beaches are amazing. It's beautiful. There's so many things to do. Like I don't think you can run out of things to do in Busan. What aspects of living in South Korea do you find difficult to grasp? Oh my gosh, this is a big one. Banks close at 4:30 p.m. So if you're working from like 8 till 5, or like me, 8:40 to 4:40, there's no time for you to go to the bank unless you leave work early. So if I need to go to the bank, I literally have to apply for early leave so I can go visit the bank. And like it's not just me, it's most people, because everybody works till after like 4:30 p.m. because banks close at 4:30. They don't open on Saturdays, they don't open on Sundays. Only a select few banks open on Sundays, and those are like the I think it's the Hana Bank, it's like to help, it's an English branch of that bank that specifically opens for foreigners on a Sunday. But it's not all of them, and it's not everywhere. So it's like, literally, if I need to go to the bank, I need to apply for leave. I can't just pop in during lunchtime because I have to be at school during lunch. It is what it is. And the other thing is, Korea still uses Internet Explorer like heavily. So a lot of websites are outdated. They don't work with like new software and stuff. And like some websites, instead of having text, they'll have the text will be a picture. So I can't even like click, oh, translate to English, because the actual web page is made up of images instead of actual text. Like, I don't know if that makes sense, but it's a thing. It's a thing. And banking, like paying for things online, is an absolute nightmare. You have to go through hoops. Like this number calls you to ask you for a certain code. This depends on which payment method you're using. There's obviously easier ones, but like banking security online is so tough to get through or to understand, and it took me a long time to like figure out what each one exactly needed for you to like be able to use it. So yeah, banking is quite a huge one, and I don't think it's just for me or foreigners in general. It's like most people have a problem with banks. Favorite city in South Korea and favorite location. I basically mentioned that Busan is my favorite place I've visited. So it is my favorite city in South Korea, and my favorite location I would say is probably Haeundae and Gwangali, or the beach parts of Busan. But I think my favorite location in Korea has to be Hongdae. Oh my goodness, Hongdae is just, the vibe is on another level. It's like you just have to experience it yourself to understand. When you're in Hongdae, there's just something so special about being there that is just a little bit different. It's near the universities, so there's a lot of young people, and it's just eclectic, and it's always alive, it's always buzzing. The shopping is insane. I don't know how much money I spent shopping in Hongdae. The subway is just like a little, you just feel like when you're in the subway in Hongdae, it's like, wow, I'm really in Korea. So how did your skin react to the water in South Korea, and how do you take care of your natural hair, your health and appearance? My skin, I wouldn't say my skin reacted to the water, or my hair actually. I've always had a shower filter on my shower head, so I haven't really experienced like any like hair fall or like skin reactions or whatever. I think my skin reacted mostly to like having a mask on all the time, and the first few months I was here, my face broke out. Like my face it looked like a pizza. It was crazy. And how do I take care of my natural hair? This is how. My hair is like 99% always in braids. I do the braids myself. It takes me about 7-8 hours. How do I take care of my health? I don't. Luckily, I haven't been sick since the pandemic started. I haven't gotten flu. I haven't gotten my usual like allergies or hay fever. I've honestly been in pretty much good health. I haven't had to go to the doctor once yet. Touch wood.
Well,
food-wise, I eat the school lunches, and I eat like terrible fast food sometimes, and I cook like maybe once a week, if not less. Yeah. I don't do much, you know. I just try and like cycle. I play soccer, and I go to a dance class twice a week. So yeah. What are things you've learned about yourself since being in a country so different from South Africa? I've learned that I can adapt to anything. Point blank, period.
And that's on period. So yeah.
I can adapt to anything, I swear to you. I've learned that I'm very good at making friends and socializing. I didn't think I was that kind of person, but I feel like coming to a different country, you kind of forced to, you have to. How has your experience been like so far? My experience in Korea has been really positive and definitely different from anything I expected. Before I came, and I think with most people, you research the country you're going to move to, or you research the place that you're going to be living in. And I obviously watched videos, you know those videos, Black in Korea, living in Korea as a foreigner, the Korea this, blah 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 this, teaching in Epic, da 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 da. I watched a lot of those videos, and I like steeled myself and I was like, okay, this is how it's gonna be, and you know, I'm gonna have to I'm gonna have to prepare myself for certain things. I think the only thing I can think of that kind of rubbed me the wrong way, personally, my experience was when my two friends and I went to this buffet, and they just turned us away. They were like full on, like just in our faces like this, no reason, nothing. And you know, native Korean people were going to the buffet no problem, but us three as foreigners, we weren't allowed to go in. And that was just like, okay, anyways. But other than that, I've had quite good positive experiences so far. With regard to like working at school, I wish with Epic we would have like another foreigner at our schools, just to feel comfortable, more comfortable, and just to be, you know, just to have that little bit of like, oh, I also have somebody like me there, whereas I am the only foreigner at my schools. So it took a while to get used to, but it's been fine so far, you know, like people just mind their business, I mind my business, I go and I work, we have lunch, sometimes we'll go to a cafe or like have a drink, and yeah, it's been good. My experience has been good so far. Can you speak Korean? If there were 3 levels of beginner, I'm at the top level of beginner. I'm a advanced beginner, if I can say that. I'm an advanced beginner, so I can't speak fluently, but I can speak some Korean, and I definitely understand way more than I can speak. So a lot of times, if somebody's speaking to me in Korean, I know exactly what they're asking me or they're telling me, but to answer them back is a problem. So that's what a translator is there for. What advice would you give someone moving to South Korea soon? My advice would be stop watching whatever videos you're watching on YouTube about South Korea and get on that plane and experience it for yourself firsthand. Don't have any expectations, positive or negative. Just be realistic that you're going to be moving to a different country and things will be different, but it's kind of what you're going to make of it that's going to determine what kind of experience you will have. So that's my biggest advice. Second, learn the language. Even if it's just so you can read signs. It's easier if you just learn how to read Korean, so you know how to just be independent by yourself living in a different country. Was it easy for you to make friends? I would say yes, but only because I'm super proactive. And like I said, I don't like being alone, so it's super easy for me to make friends. And here they use Tinder and Bumble for making friends. Like, yeah, people do date on there, but you can just set up your profile to just be looking for friends. And I've met about 2 people on Bumble, and I'm friends with one of them. And plenty of my friends have met each other through like Bumble and Tinder. So it's easy to make friends. And for me, I just post in like expat groups, and I'm like, oh, I'm gonna be here, I'm gonna be there, anybody available, let's hang out, let's meet up. And I joined a hiking group when I first came here, so I made a few friends through the hiking group. And also because I came through Epic, everyone in my province, we were all in the same group during Epic orientation, so I already had a base of friends when I came to Changwon, luckily. So yeah, it was pretty easy to make friends. I think there's always people out there looking for other people to like connect with. How was your first month? Oh my gosh, my first month was insane. I was even scared to go out. It was Corona. Corona had just been like, Corona was just starting to become a thing. So the city I'm in now, Changwon, was dead. So I thought, wow, they put me in like the most boring city, nothing happens here. I had to stay in for about a month and a half. So I didn't go to work for a month and a half. I had to stay in my apartment, and like it was also hard because I hadn't had my first paycheck yet. So I was still living off of the money I had bought from South Africa. So that was difficult. I couldn't order food. I couldn't order things online because I hadn't gotten my bank account set up. I hadn't gotten my Korean cell phone number. So it was hard. Like I remember my first night, my friend had to buy me food, and she lives in a whole different province. She bought me food on one of the food apps and sent it to my house. And I was so grateful because, gosh, I would have starved because I was literally so scared to leave my apartment. Like, you don't understand. since I was pretty new to the city, like everybody would look at me. And I just hated that so much. I wasn't at the point yet where I didn't care about whether people looked at me or not. But at that point, I was just very like, oh, don't look at me. I feel so uncomfortable. I feel so, So the first month was pretty rough. And it was winter. So I just arrived in winter. It was the first time I felt cold, this cold. I didn't have like the long padding that they all wear during winter. So I was really cold. My heater wasn't working and I didn't understand how to work the floor heating. And I couldn't even get my stove on. I'd never used a gas stove before. I didn't know how to put the gas on and like to turn the stove on. So I didn't cook for like a month. So that was actually the last question. So thank you to everyone that sent a question through my Instagram story. And I hope I provided enough information. If you still have any questions, you can always comment or ask me on Instagram. I'm always down to answer a DM. And I hope you enjoyed the video. And I'm gonna stop posting the other vlogs that I that are all backlogged. I need to get a start on those. And I'll see you again in a new video soon. And have a great day. Bye.